The king and queen of Eldoria were killed by Tyrus, the brother of Vagan, who then took over the kingdom. Princess Jane, Vagan's daughter, escapes into the forest. The goddess Elora tries 2 times to save the princess because of a challenge from the god Athra. Nadia, the goddess of evil, supported Tyrus. The princess found refuge with an old woman in the forest, whose son fell in love with her. Elora used a magic mirror to see who Tyrus's enemy was, and it showed Tyrus's wife. When time went backward, it revealed that Tyrus and Nickel were friends when they were young. Nickel is in love with Lewis, and Nickel introduces Lewis to Tyrus. Tyrus, mesmerized by Lewis's beauty. Tyrus takes Nickel with him to battle against a tribe and secretly killed him. And then Tyrus married Louise. And he said to Lewis, "When we have a baby boy, you'll be the queen and I'll be the king of Eldoria." Then, he took Lewis to a secret place and showed her the royal scepter and crown of the dynasty. Louise called Kadamba doctor to her house and asked for medicine to stop her from having children. Fairies are planning to steal the Eldorian scepter and crown. The wise fairy continued speaking, "It's a place where no human can go. Nobody dares to go there." The wise fairy asked them, "Have you heard of Eagle Fort?" Eagle Fort is located far away from the country of Eldoria, situated on an island in the middle of the sea. At the top of the mountain in the middle of the island, where no human can reach, lies Eagle Mountain Fort. Everywhere on the island, there are dead bodies and eagle-like creatures with human bodies, eagle faces, and huge wings. These people are very cruel and show no mercy. If any ship is seen within their island's borders, the men on that ship are their special treat that day. Their custom is to catch these men and roast them over a fire. Because of this, no sailors or ships come to their side. Similarly, the people of Eagle Mountain Fort do not cross their boundaries. Athra, who knew their ferocity, placed a severe curse that if they crossed their borders, their wings would burn to ashes. Eagle men who lose their wings can't return to their island and must die. This has happened many times. As a result, the people of Eagle Mountain Fort survive by hunting animals on their island and fishing in the sea. But the existence of such a race is only partly known to the outside world as a fantasy. People don't know about it at all because those who've seen eagle men have never survived. Centuries ago, stories passed down from those who survived are told from one generation to the next. People aren't sure if these stories are true or fictional. They avoid going to the island because of the rumors. In such a place, we must protect the crown and scepter of Eldoria. Elora, upon hearing the wise fairy's words, greatly appreciated her. She then asked the wise fairy, "How can we move the crown of Eldoria to Eagle Fort?" "We can't do anything directly because only Louise knows the secret to unlocking the place where the crown is kept." The wise fairy looked at Elora and replied, "I have a plan for that." Elora and the other fairies asked, "What is the plan?" The wise fairy began to explain the plan. After hearing her plan, everyone was surprised. Elora hugged the wise fairy happily and asked, "When will we begin our plan?" "Tonight," said the wise fairy. She looked at the dream fairy and said, "Start your work tonight." At night in the palace, Louise sat thinking deeply. Boris enters and Louise wakes up when she sees him. She asks him, "What's happened to the princess?" Boris responds, "The princess has God's help. This time, too." He explains that she escaped and soldiers who were searching for her in the forest suddenly caught fire and burned to ashes. Louise breathes a sigh of relief, thinking, the wild beasts saved her last time. If she's saved from the fire this time, surely she has God on her side. Louise becomes angry, declaring, "Of course, Tyrus is going to die by my hand." Boris tells her, "It's time," and walks out. Louise walked to her bedroom and leaned on the bed. "I'm not having a baby yet, to saving the king's life." Suddenly, she wondered why Tyrus killed the king. She was thinking about it without knowing the answer and closed her eyes to sleep. Sleep took over her deeply. The dream fairy entered the room and began to project her dream to Louise. In her sleep, Louise's eyes widened as she started dreaming. She saw the throne, scepters, crown, and swords of the kings of Eldoria and began to spin. "Come. Come near to me. Sit on top of me and put the king's crown on your head." The throne of Eldoria was calling to her.